Do you know how you arrived here at this very video? Ever wondered what's behind algorithms and why you get recommendations based on what you like? In this video, we'll explain what deep learning is, how it works, and how it's different from machine learning. So keep watching right through, and by the end, you'll know more than the guys next door. We're surrounded by algorithms on the internet. They're everywhere. The video you're watching right now was recommended to you by an algorithm. That box that you're watching was predicted by an algorithm, and the ads you see between Instagram Reels are right here on YouTube. Yep, they're also dictated by algorithms. To put it simply, deep learning is behind all of this, and it works just like your brain. The human brain is a network of billions of neurons. These tiny neurons connect with each other and form a network. So for example, when you see a dog, it's the neurons in your brain's visual processing system that receive the information, and this layer of neurons is called the input layer. The signals are then transferred to the next layer, which are more complex, and known as the hidden layer. These layers of neurons would then interact with each other and distinguish the features of the dog. Some would focus on the eyes of the dog, its paws, or its color. So basically, neurons in these deeper layers combine these features to form a complete representation of a dog. In the final layer, the output layer, your brain would tell you, hey, that's a big old shaggy dog. And what's crazy is this all happens in just a millisecond. And so this is exactly what inspired the formation of neural networks in deep learning technology. Deep learning technology acts as the brain of an artificial intelligence model with tiny artificial neurons that work in complex neural networks. To understand it in more detail, let's go back to the example of the YouTube algorithm and see how this video showed up in your feed. When you first set up your YouTube account, information such as your age, location, and gender was received by the platform. Then you might have watched some videos related to tech, AI, or machine learning. You might have watched these videos right the way through. Maybe you left a comment somewhere or simply pressed the like button. So, if you like this video and subscribe to our channel, YouTube's algorithm will deliver more of the same. All this information was received by the input neural layer of the YouTube algorithm. The hidden layer then used this information to study it, recognize some similar patterns, predict what kind of videos you like, and then send the final predictions to the output layer. The output layer is the one responsible for recommending this particular video to you, and will also recommend similar videos to you if you watch this video until the end. This process keeps on working continuously and shows you content based on your interests. It's kind of mind-blowing when you break it down. This also applies to TikTok, Instagram, and any other major social media platform. In fact, very recently, you may have heard that Threads was released by Meta, and if you've already used it, you might have noticed that it showed you the content that you liked, even after just a few hours of use. There are many other examples where deep learning is being used. For example, image recognition. So if you have a picture and you want to know where it was taken, just search on one of the best AI tools like Google Lens, and you'll find the answer. ChatGPT can also recognize images. So if you show it an image of inside your refrigerator, it'll recognize the ingredients using the method we just described, and will come up with some epic recipes that can be made with these ingredients. This tech is getting insane. Voice recognition is another really good example of deep learning. Google Voice Recognition, Siri, Alexa, and other top AI tools are all good examples. And as we're sure you know, many new AI tools are now being used to clone voices of celebrities or to clone your own voice. More on that in another video here on top AI tools. Then there's the recommendation systems we mentioned earlier. The top picks for you on Netflix and music recommendation on Spotify. They're both similar to the way the YouTube algorithm works. What about other industries using deep learning techniques? You might have seen the news about a self-driving car that was pulled over by the police in San Francisco. Can AI be banned from driving? Anyway, these cars are also using deep learning to recognize objects on the road and to make accurate predictions. But if you're like us, we prefer our actual hands on the wheel for now. Deep learning is also used in the computer gaming industry, where it's used to make non-playing characters, using paid as well as free AI tools that mimic human behavior. So deep is the learning that these non-playing characters can now develop their own consciousness. So it's clear just how critical and far-reaching deep learning has become. None of what we've described so far would have been possible with humans alone. Going back to the YouTube example, there are over 2.6 billion users on this platform, and to predict what each of them like using human power alone, let's just say YouTube doesn't hire millions of people to do this job. So deep learning and other AI technology are absolutely essential when handling large and complex data sets. Talking about AI technologies, many people think that artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning are just different words for the same thing. No, sorry, wrong answer. Artificial intelligence is a broad branch of computer science that aims to create artificial machines that can mimic human behavior. And AI has different subsets, one of which is machine learning. This is all about developing algorithms and models that allow the artificial machines to learn and think like a human. Then, machine learning can be further divided into different categories like supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. But that's another story for another time. So for now, all you need to know is that deep learning is actually a subset of machine learning. So let's see how deep and machine learning differ from each other. Let's say you're training an AI model about the difference between cats and dogs. If you're using machine learning techniques, then you need to manually insert the data and tell the AI model, hey, these are the features of the dog, and these are the features of the cat, and here's how they're different from each other. But if you're using neural networks and deep learning, then you don't have to worry about that, as this model will learn to recognize the images themselves. Think of it like two types of student. One learns things on their own, and the other student might need a little bit of help to get started. However, since the deep learning models learn on their own, they'll need more data and more computational power than the machine learning models. So using the cat and dog example, the machine learning model will be able to learn using thousands of images, but deep learning would require tens of thousands of images. It's safe to say that in the modern world, we now use deep learning and other AI technologies to become more efficient and to deal with large data sets. But the term artificial intelligence has been around since 1956, machine learning since 1959, and deep learning since 1986. Kinda surprising, right? Because most people have never heard about machine learning or deep learning. We've probably heard of artificial intelligence, but never thought about its actual applications. So why the sudden fuss when these concepts have been around for over 60 years? The answer is simple. We've got more access to data now. See, the most important thing that's needed in this branch of computer science is data. Without data, artificial intelligence is nothing. Stats show that 120 zettabytes of data are expected to be generated in 2023 alone, and FYI, 1 zettabyte is equal to 1 trillion gigabytes. Let that sink in a moment. It's also said that 90% of the world's data was generated in the past 2 years alone, and this is the main reason why big companies like Meta, Google, and Microsoft built enormous data centers, since deep learning, robot learning, or machine learning require big data sets. We mentioned that more computational power is required for deep learning models. Nowadays, even a mobile phone comes with comparatively large computational power. But back in the day, the first PC that was built by IBM had just 16 kilobytes of RAM, a color graphics adapter, and no disk drive. Hard to imagine now, right? Since generative AI is everywhere, and many people fear that it might take away their jobs, perhaps it's worth considering. AI may not replace you, but a person using AI will. So guys, best to subscribe to our channel and keep yourself up to date with all the latest in AI.